All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Shalom, shalom, and shalom. Sister Deborah coming with a message today, and I'm going to go back into what I have done. Ooh, I say years ago. And it was one reason why I had a hard time. And it really wasn't a hard time, but I had a hard time when I'm sitting down and I'm reading the study guide. The reason why is because as I'm reading it, when the Holy Spirit takes you inside, there's no coming out. So I realized that the reason why I just can't come out is because I didn't take myself in. It's the Holy Spirit. You can sit and you can read your study guide, and the Holy Spirit begin to teach you a level that's not, um, you really can't grip based on what you're reading. And how the Spirit teaches you is He promised that if He come and He abide in your spirit and your spirit abide in His, and most likely if His spirit abide in you, okay, your spirit is abiding in Him, because the only place the Holy Spirit is going to reside in you is in your spirit. You know why? He the one blew that in you, that is likened to the image of His spirit. He is a spirit, so He giving you a spirit for the purpose of His will. When He come in us, there is where He is able to pretty much cause your spirit to rest in the brands in which He has branded in you. See, that's why they can't really teach the brand, is because they have no idea of the brands of the Most High Yah, and they have no idea the connection to the Spirit is the connection to the Father, because the Father only will reside and come and abide in your spirit. Okay, and that's the only way your spirit can hear Him, see Him, know Him. That's the only place you can hold righteous. That's the only place you can hold belief, faith, fear, hope. You see, it's where all of those brands reside in your spirit. Why? Because that's where the Holy Spirit comes and endows Himself in the midst of what is in you that is of Him. You see? So if they had to teach it today about where or how is it we receive the power, and how do we receive Him teaching us all things, or how do we receive the prophecies, how do we receive these things in which said that we shall receive after the Holy Spirit has come upon us. This is why they can't really teach it, because they have no idea. They don't have the fullness of what the spirit is. You know, they so busy talking about the soul, they fail to realize what the spirit is. And they never covered the spirit. They so busy wanting you to know what the Roman Catholics and the Jesuits and the others have placed in the book, which is sold, to where 99.9 have no idea about the purpose of the spirit, your own spirit that rests within you. Because if they had taught it to the people, guess what? The people will realize that they have another, the entity that is within them, which is the inner man, is the one that lives eternal. And that lives eternal, if the outside is conducting itself a certain way, it's actually identifying what is in your spirit already. That's what He predestined. That's what He has ordained. That's what He foreknew. It's our spirit man, our mother and father connection to the flesh is what got us here, born in iniquity. Okay? Born in sin. But the Father part is the spirit that you have in you. See, they don't teach that. They didn't teach it, and they're not going to. It's what you call fully over. You're not going to get someone to pick up something and try to take it to the people right, because the hearts of people are so distant from what is right. They don't want to come nowhere near to anything that might be a light, that might be righteous, that might be just, that might be upright. Anything that has to do with the Most High, they want no part in it. Are they teaching like they know? I'm sure they are. They're getting a part in the worldly part of it. You know, they're getting something out of it in the world. You see, that's the only part they want to embrace. So if they had to turn around and come back with spirit and truth or the light, they wouldn't be able to. Why? Because they have already took the multitude out to the middle of the sea. They took too many out, y'all. They took too many individuals out. So what would it look like? Watch this. What would it look like? Let's use me. If I won people over through deception and not through spirit and truth, not guiding them by the light, not showing them and teaching them spirit and truth. And I won, let's say 5,000 people. And they come and they see me every day. They hear me on the Sabbath and they just eating it up and they support me to the highest. Okay? Guess what? What would it look like for me to turn around and start teaching them the truth? That means I find a way back to dry land. They still out in the ocean, drowning. This is the reason why they're not going to turn around and go back toward anything that's righteous and just and upright, that's spirit and truth, because they have led a mass through the broad gate. So what does it look like them turning away from the broad gate after entering in the broad gate? They turn around and go the other way. It ain't going to make no sense because the blood is on their hands and their fruit of what they taught, which was deception. It's no way you're going to be able to walk in the broad gate and lead the people through the broad gate, and you're going to turn around away from the broad gate and know the way to the narrow. You can't do it. Why? Because you led too many through the broad gate with you. You see? So do y'all understand why Sister Deborah can be on this devil platform teaching spirit and truth and the light? And they, even if they know you're teaching it right and knowing that you're speaking spirit and truth, that you're speaking something that they refuse to speak, they will never turn around. So you see why it's over? If you think that he's going to wait until they go into the broad gate and all those that they have led through the broad gate, you think the Most High is sitting around on his throne waiting for them to come out of the broad gate so they can go the right way? That's what you will be hoping for and thinking when you think that it's not over. It's over. It's over. He ain't sitting up on the throne waiting for everybody to come out the broad gate to start going to the narrow gate. No, he ain't. It's over. You see? And that's the reason why I always said to you all that it's over, because people can't turn and reverse what they done taught everybody. Even if they felt they came to the knowledge and the light clicked on, they ain't going to reverse it, because they'll end up losing everything that they have gained. And they are not about to lose what they have gained on this earth. Do you know it's going to be so hard for people to leave away from, you know how it says, come out of her, so that you will not receive her plagues? Do you know you're not going to get, it's going to be too hard, and you're not going to get pretty much no one to come out because they got too much invested in it, y'all. They got too much invested in this world. People are not going to turn around and decide to come out. Come out of what? Come out. You mean I have to? See, they ain't going to want to do that. They are not going to want to come out of her. Because to come out of her, you lose on this side, but you gain on the spiritual side. And I'm going to tell you, it's over. They're not coming out. But I like the way the Father, you can tell that it ain't something that the spiritual power was looking forward to, because he said it, not he, but it was said only one time by an individual. Come out of her. Why not? That should have been way before you were in her, or while you were in her, the light should have shined or something to get you prepared and help you to come out. But no, because he knows, the Father knows they're not going to come out. I'm telling you, when you are so invested in this world, it is so hard. I ain't gonna say it's so hard, it's beyond hard for you to come out of the world to come into the light and be right. Oh no. Now you're proud of the fence, but you ain't coming out all the way. It's too hard, because you have to come out of every lifestyle that you have lived, that you have thought about, that you have made up, and you didn't build up, and you didn't gain, and everything else. You would have to come out of that when you come out of her. You see? Now, let's go into the topic of my message. What does it mean? What does it mean? And that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about what does it mean. When I was a young girl, and I'm going to say when I was really like in my teens, early teens and everything, and I used to read. I just couldn't get into the book and just read and just pull out or get in and just read and understand. And no, I couldn't come out, because it was always so much for me to see. It was so much in the study guide for me to see beyond seeing. That's what I'm trying to say. So therefore, where a pastor can have to do his sermon and do his study and do his learning and precepting and lining and a little here and a little there and really doing their what they call it, sermon, getting prepared for their sermon. Somebody like me, I couldn't get prepared for a sermon in a way that they, as bishops, apostles, prophets, Maureen, seers, watchmen, prophets, the prophetess, all of them, they prepare for all that they have to really bring forth. You see, and in all they're preparing, do you all know that they still be on the wrong track? They don't have, just imagine, let's say I'm a pastor and I'm studying for my sermon, and I'm in here and I'm just reading and everything, and in it all, I bring to my congregation, and I got a congregation of 3,000, and now I'm finna teach my sermon that I was studying all week for Sunday, okay? Or for, let's say, the Sabbath. Let's say that. And I'm prepared for it. I'm ready. I know my topic and everything. Guess what? The way that they do their sermon and their study and preparing for it is in the flesh. You see? Because the true studying for a message is from the inside out, not from what you study in a book. You get what I'm saying? That's why I say, being a young teenager, it was hard for me to sit here and read this book, because I couldn't get off of a chapter. Probably take me weeks to get out of a chapter. Why? Because it was too much behind what was in the book. So if I got into Matthew's chapter 1, I have a hard time, because I'm hearing and I'm learning behind what is in the book. Was it me? No, it was the Ruach that was in me that was the true teacher that was teaching me the word that is behind the words. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I wanted to bring this message up today. What does it mean? And I'm just going to go over a couple of chapters and some verses, and it's going to be really good because it's actually covering the fact that you won't know what it is saying unless something is teaching you what is being said behind what is being said. You see? And sometimes it's just the simple things that one really don't understand what it's saying, that he that's in you knows what it's saying, and he makes sure he teach you all things. So like I say, as a young person, I always had a hard time. I just couldn't get off of a chapter or 2 or 3 verses. I just couldn't pull out because the Spirit was teaching me what was behind what was before me. See, in front of me was a King James Bible, okay? But behind the writing is the Ruach that's in me that wants me to understand it the way that he that was in me teaching me. He didn't want me to understand it the way the book the way the book was saying it. He was giving me the reason why. And even when I was doing in the study as a teenager, I also realized this can't be your word, because if you say this, how are they saying this? But it was a lot of things that many of you can tell that many people don't really read the book, because if they really read the book, they will stumble over all kind of errors. You will actually stumble over many errors. And that's somebody who without the Holy Spirit, they will still stumble over when it said this here, but it's saying that. They stumble over it. But one thing I like about the book itself, everything has its purpose under the sun. Okay? Everything has its purpose. It's say, for instance, this book. We can say it's a time to study and a time to understand. Who would know the difference? 99.9 wouldn't be able to pull that up in spirit and truth. No one. Because if Solomon was saying it's a time for this and a time for that, it's a time for this and a time for that, I say unto you, if we take this book, we can actually add to what Solomon was saying. It's a time to study, and or we could say it's a time to study and it's a time to understand. Or we can say it's a time to study and it's a time to listen. Okay? Meaning you study, but you have to listen from within. You see what I'm saying? So it's we can even say it's a time for words and it's a time for the word. You see, letting you know the power and the anointed after the words you read. There's a time for words and there's a time for the word, which is the Most High Yah, the true teacher of all things. You see? But what I believe is the book is here for its purpose, just as the tools. Let's go. We have wisdom in the flesh, and we have wisdom in the spirit. Okay? Okay, so we have wisdom in the flesh, and we have wisdom in the spirit. We have knowledge in the flesh, and we have knowledge in the spirit. What will be so hard for us to accept? What is it That would be so hard for us to accept. We have words in the flesh, and we have the word that teaches the spirit. Why would we feel that it's so wrong to separate the words from the word? Why? Because your ancestors never, ever questioned or had the answer to anything. They never questioned nor had the answer to anything. You see? So therefore, this is the reason why they would. It's because they really don't have, and they didn't have the answer. You see, because many of them wasn't led by the true teacher. So they would give you and only could give you what they study. Okay? Did they have the Holy Spirit? Yes. The Holy Spirit has been here. You see? They have been here. So it's okay, let's get let me help this person out. Let me help them out a little bit. They needed a little help. Yeah, they needed a little help. Let me help them out a little bit. Let me help them out a little bit. Let me do something. Yes. I'm just going to do this here. Okay. That's the one that needed a little help. They needed a little help. So I just gave them a little help. A little something, something. let them kind of marinate in that. So here we are understanding, what does it mean? What does it mean? And we're going to go over some things, and I'm going to ask myself the questions. Okay, anybody have the answers? You also can say, what you have. But I want to show you how hard it is to get into the word, and not get into, to be in the word, reading the words. Okay, just as I said, Solomon, he says there's a time for this and there's a time for this. I feel that the study guide, there is a time to study, because I believe the studying, I don't think that they have everything in. I ain't gonna say it, I ain't gonna think it. I know they don't have everything in the book, but I believe they stole, I'm gonna say it like that, many things, and from the strolls, and they used it to make up. And they did it, to me, they did a job on it, but they weren't expecting many people to really pull up in spirit and truth and in the light. Why? Because during the time they decide to make this book or to create this book and bring it forth, people weren't into challenging or saying this wrong or this is right or this can't be true or this is true. So therefore they just got away with it all these years. And that's what they continue to do in this day and time, is just do things because they get away with it. I think if they if all this sickening that's in this world had not the people in the world allowed the 1% to do all this sickness, it's a lot of things that would not have taken place. But because the world loves its own, that means the people in this world really loves the elites that does all this abomination, this wicked and evil. The people in this world loves it. I know you might say, Deborah, come on, what they do? Yes. How do you think they've gotten away with it for so long? How could 1% of people rule this earth? You can't even make it make sense, because it don't make sense. So what I'm saying is, all of this here that is in this King James Bible, the King James Bible, even the 1611, the Enoch, the lost books, the found books, whatever book you want to add to it, whatever book you say they took away, it doesn't matter. Do you have the true teacher in you? Do you have that true one that can give you what it means? Do you have him residing in you, teaching you from a level this world cannot teach you from? Really, they can't. So I want to get into my topic, and it says, what does it mean? And we're going to first start in Matthew chapter 7 and verse 6. Okay? Matthew chapter 7 and verse 6. Now listen to this. It says, give not that which is holy unto the dogs. It says, give not. Now, right there where Yeshua HaMashiach is saying, give not, who do you think he's speaking to? He's speaking to a people of the light. He's speaking to the people of the light. He's not speaking to the people of night or of the darkness. He's speaking to people of the day, the people of the light. He's saying to them, give not that which is holy. So the people of the light have something? Yes, they do. See? You will never get no one to preach and teach this, because they don't want to separate the dark from the light, the night from the day. When they teach it in the churches and in the congregation, in the place where you worship and you serve and you say you holy then thou, and you're shouting and singing and all this other stuff, they want to branch in darkness with light. They want to branch light in with darkness. So here in Matthew chapter 7 verse 6, he said, give not. He's not talking to the serpent seed. He's talking to the spiritual seed. He's telling them, don't give what you got. That's what he's saying. So if I had to teach a sermon, that's how I would have to break it down. And when I break it down, I would have to break it down in spirit and truth. So therefore, I have to bring it into the spirit realm. Because what he's saying, give not, it is all spiritual. Don't give what you have that's spiritual. What you mean, Deborah? Valuable, spiritual, truth, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and the holy things that you have. Where is it at? It's in you. And only one can speak this is Yeshua HaMashiach, because he too have these things, these valuables within him. This is why you know he's not talking to the serpent seed in the world, because he's saying as if you got something. You got something so precious. And he says, give not that which is holy unto dogs. Unto dogs. It's amazing how the word dogs is right now like flashing in my thought, because I spoke about dogs being flesh lickers, flesh eaters, blood lickers. Just thinking about that. And people are giving their all. And you know how I would say that, okay, people are taking care of these animals and I mean, they got so much everything invested in their animals, to the point where their animals are little gods to them. And even if they say it is not, that just them living their life. And that's where Hosea chapter 4 and verse 6 said, they perish. My people. He had no problem saying my people. We're going there too today. But he said they perish due to what? Lack of knowledge. Because what? They reject knowledge. So the lack of knowledge doesn't mean they don't know it. It's just that they reject it. That's scary. That's real scary. But here he says, give not that which is holy unto the dogs. And then he said, neither cast ye your pearls before swines. See, right there, Yeshua is sending a sign to the light. Those that are in the light, those that are spirit seed. He's letting you know you got something invested in you of the Father. Don't cast it to the pearls. You got something, because I'm telling you not to give it to dogs. Neither cast your pearls before the swine. That's beautiful. So when you hear me talk about the brick wall, people eating at the table, this is what he's saying. You see? Don't cast the holy things that the Father has invested in you. Don't, it says, give it not to the dogs. And it says, neither cast ye pearls before the swine. Now, this is what's sad about this here. You would never get no one to preach and teach this. Why? Because according to preach and teach this, you have to step over to the spirit realm, out of the natural realm into the spirit realm. Because when you see the word give not, somewhere Yeshua HaMashiach know that you have something to give. Woo! No, you didn't go there. Yes, I did. He knows that there's something you have to give. And that something is holy. Oh, praise the Most High Yah. Not only do he know you got something to give, he also knows that it is holy. And he's telling you, do not give it unto the dogs. Why? Because it's holy. So therefore what? You have to step out of the natural and realize that if Yeshua HaMashiach is saying something to those who are of the light and the spiritual seed, that you have something in you that is holy. And then he said, neither cast ye your pearls before the swine. Look how he's saying, whatever it is, he's calling it also pearls. Just imagine what you have that is spiritual. He says, cast ye your pearls, neither cast ye your pearls before the swine. And you notice it's not saying like it's one pearl. It's saying it like you got more than one or two or three or four. But he's saying whatever, don't cast it before. Don't even entertain. Don't put what's invested in you by the Most High Yah before the swine. Don't put it before the swine. They're not entitled, people. So when I sit on this devil platform and I think about how narrow the gate that leads to the eternal, I think about the eternal. I would say eternal kingdom. When I think about that, I think about how things that the Father has invested in me and all the teaching that He instilled in me. And for me to just come and just every day and try to, and put it forth, you see, and have no problem putting it forward and representing He that's on the throne. If He gave me these things, this is my purpose of putting it forth. But I see here that Yeshua HaMashiach is saying, give it not. That which is holy that has been given unto you, Deborah. Don't cast it to the you know why? To the dogs. You know why? We that are the spiritual seed, that are the light, we want to not be able to tell who's who or what's what. We want to stand in this world and represent Yah in a hidden space. Okay? We want to also continue to fear darkness and fear the ways of the world to where we can't really put out those pearls and those holy things, because it's like we are afraid because we're thinking that, okay, it's a form of way we teach, and it's not like people are used to learning, and people are used to reading, and people are used to understanding, and people are used to comprehending. So therefore we pull back. But just think what Yeshua HaMashiach is saying here. Give not. So he's telling you, you got something for a reason. You just don't need to give it to the wrong ones. That's what he said. How do you know? He's giving you enough tools, Deborah, to discern. So when y'all saw me skipping channels and switching, don't look at that as something I was doing out of my own flesh. This is a prime example right here, what Yeshua said. I was coming away from all of those individual. At that time, it was 1,600, a little over 16. Now dropped down to 1,500 and something on my old page. I'm giving all of that food, all of that spirit and truth, all of that light to that many people that had subscribed. And guess what? They weren't listening. They weren't hearing. So when I hear Yeshua HaMashiach say, give not that which is holy unto the dogs. We that are the spiritual seed and the light, we feel that we are offending, or we are trying to portray we're better, or we are here to help, and we got it bent. We got it bent up because we're using too much of our flesh. And that part of our flesh we're using too much of is our emotions and our feelings and our personal opinion coming from them emotions and them feelings. We don't understand that he separates the tools for a reason and a purpose. Just as Yeshua HaMashiach is saying here, he's saying, give not, as if you got something to give. Not only that, he's calling it holy. Woo! No, you didn't. And he said it don't belong to the dogs. So as I was on that other page, I said, let me get up off of here. Let me start my new page. Let me start a new page. This time, don't just let any and everybody come in. You know what I'm saying? And as I got over here, me thinking, okay, I think I did it. I transitioned. It worked out. But then there were those that were on that page still end up coming to this page with the same mindset, the same spirit, the same pride, and the same self-center. And I'm like, okay, do I father close this page, go to another one? You see? And it's almost like you having to get up and keep it going to get away from the dogs. You see? Why? Matthew's chapter 7, verse 6. When I hear him talking, I hear him saying, heavens have given you something, Deborah. Use all of what is given to you to separate yourself from the dogs. And I can say, when I don't know who's who and what's what, I don't know how to do it. He said, what? It's in you. It's holy. It's in you to know. It's in you. You see? So even what he said gave me legit reason to change from one channel to the next. And if I choose to change from this channel to the next, that is something I'm subject to do. But I like the way it breaks it down in such a spiritual realm, because that's what he said in Matthew chapter 7, verse 6, the word give. It locks me in that I have something to give someone, and it's holy. Oh, Father, he said it is holy. Don't give it, Deborah, to the dogs. Okay? Then he said, neither cast your pearls before the swines. You got valuable spiritual things, Deborah. You don't have to be on this devil platform. And many times I thought of that too, going to the highway and the byways. Okay? The time that I did. I was out there all night. And not just one day. I mean, that's what I was doing. And no one cared that I went out like that. No one said, Mom, you're going to go out in danger. Mom, don't do this. Even my husband at the time, he never questioned it. He never said you shouldn't go out in the midnight hour and take that stuff down there to the people and sit down and talk with them and be out there hours and hours. He never questioned it. No one ever said anything when I look back at it. But he said, it says here in Matthew chapter 7, verse 6, it says, don't cast your pearls before the swine. See, the pearls represent something that he has given. And he's given more than one, because I see an S by pearls. He said, don't cast them before the swine. So it allows you to know that there are dogs before you and there are swines before you. So when you hear me saying brick wall, standing up in the corner, looking cockeyed, all of that is connected to the same thing he said. Same thing. It's just that I'm not saying it. All y'all dogs up in the corner, all y'all swines that's up in the corner. I ain't saying it like that. I'm calling them brick walls, looking at me cockeyed, standing up in the corner. Yes, because you're putting out holy, precious pearls to individual. You see, and they standing like brick walls, eating it up. Everything you're saying like a brick wall. So I'm glad to hear it, but I can break this bad boy all the way down. And you see how I haven't gotten off of 6? That's the example I had when I was a young teenager. I couldn't get off a verse because I wear that sucker out. Why? Because it's too much in it. Too much spirit and truth resting right there. I can tell the whole world something out of this one verse 6. And all of it will be spirit and truth with the light in my right hand. So let me continue. Then he said, lest they trample them under their feet. So there, look at the word there. Look at the word there. Notice first and foremost, I forgot to say this, that he called the pearls yours. Yes. He calls the pearls your pearls. He called the things that you have invested in you holy. Tell me my Yah ain't awesome. Okay, so then he says, if you cast your pearls before the swine, lest they trample them under their feet. Meaning, I explained to you all how many would follow Sister Deborah. Many would take a look and be in the corner and all up against the wall, looking at me cockeyed and, eating all the food they can feel a full meal deal. And guess what? It means nothing. Why do you say that, Deborah? Bam! What do verse 6 say? The dogs is hanging around what you got that's holy. The swines are standing before you, and you one got the pearls. But all they do after they have eaten and gotten full, watch what he says, lest they trample them under their feet. Ooh-wee. This is why I can't teach under the chapter and the verse after verse after verse. It's because it's too much in one verse. You see? And I'm going behind the verse. Now, when you hear this, it says, lest they trample. Trample what? Over the pearls with their feet. As if you didn't give them a full meal deal. Follow you day after day, week, month, and year, and still would take everything that you feeding at the table and trample them under their feet. Watch this here. And turn again to render you. That is a prime example of why I say I left one channel to come to another. And I didn't want the same ones following if they were not supporters, especially. Why? Because if they didn't, they took all of that holy stuff that was taught to them on from one page. And they also took the pearls that was cast before them and trampled over it and end up coming right over to this page and do this very same thing. The Father said, don't trust them. They can't be trusted. And I thank the Ruach from being a speaker from within. He's such an awesome speaker from within. Because within you, he speaks that spirit and that truth to your spirit. So you will not be found lost on the outside based on what's going on the outside, because the conniving and the deception and the deceiving and the darkness is on the outside. Only thing on the inside is the light. You see? So therefore, he wants me to always understand you ain't never been nowhere near far from what you're saying. Every word you say, always go back to it, because ain't nothing you said ever been off balance. And that's when he was telling me also, it was a while back, how you just say it in parables. You tell the truth at the level of where people can get it, but you're telling it in parables, but you're speaking that truth. You see? So when I looked at Matthew chapter 7 and verse 6, I saw that and I thought that was such a beautiful thing, because it's saying something that I've said before, and I constantly keep saying, and I can place myself right here as if he's only talking to me. I know he's talking to the body of Hamashiach, but I can testify, I can salute everything that he's saying right here has already been among me and in my present and is today. It is 100% true. Everything he is saying, but you can't grip it by just looking at it and reading it. You have to understand it and in a point of spirit and truth, and bring that power out of that bad boy. And what I did is I showed you my example of what it was on my other channel, and bringing it into this. This is 100, because when he said give not, right here, the reason why the church can't teach it, because they don't understand what is it that you got that you give not. He's telling Yeshua HaMashiach, saying, don't give what you got. The pastor would wonder, well, what you mean? What you got? What you got? That ain't nobody else got. That's how they were preaching. But you see, this is why you just can't read it and think you got it. You have to be able to hear the Holy Spirit in you teach you this. Now, what I just did, I knocked this bad boy out of the ballpark, and it probably went over every last one of your head, which was still good. Okay, everything is not for everybody, but what I did understand at the end, it says when they finished done with you, they would use it against you, and they would rend you with the very thing that you have, that was given to you from the kingdom that you have, that is holy and precious pearls that you put before them, and that you gave them. They will use it against you. Ain't no church gonna preach that. Ain't nobody gonna cover that. And when I said no church, no saints, no pastor, no bishop, no apostle, no prophet, no prophetess, no Maureen, no priest, no bishop, no pope, no nobody gonna teach that the way I just spoke it. Because people want to stay away from anything that tells spirit and truth and the light, because it cutthroat. That's just it. What do truth do? Set people free, that they don't have to keep living the lie. You see? But who is it that truth set free? The light. The light, because the light would today would be experiencing this and say, well, I was going through that too. I know exactly what they said. I'm going, but I thought it was me, and I didn't know what. I was just trying to get along with them and try to reason with them, and all this time, the light's in here trying to make it right with the darkness, so they can move on. But it's best not to, especially if the Holy Spirit have told you that person or the people are not truthful, and they not, leave them alone. Leave them alone and let them sit as brick walls all they want. Okay? Until all the things that you've said come upon them, and then they begin to realize who they are. Okay? So the next one I'm going to go into, and I really wasn't planning on going this deep, but when I saw it, I had to. Okay, I want to step into Proverbs chapter 9. When I get into Proverbs chapter 9, and I'm going to go from verse 6. In Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 6, And I'm going down to verse 10. What I learned was Solomon was saying some things, and I think we should hear him out. In this day and time, I think we should hear him out. Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 6 through 10. In Proverbs chapter 9, verse 6 through 10, let's start with verse 6. Forsake the foolish and live and go in the way of understanding. Forsake the foolish and live and go in the way of understanding. That I think, and I know that the Most High Yah, the creator of heavens and earth, he is what you call all understanding. All understanding is who he is. It's who he was and who he going to be. So when it says in verse 6, forsake the foolish, it's talking about people. Forsake the foolish individuals. Forsake them. Watch this here. And live. Okay? And go in the way of understanding. Stick with the way of Yah. Stick with the way of Yah. Don't go no other way but the way of Yah. Stick with that. Don't go any other way. Okay? Now, here it says, verse 7, and it says, he that reproveth a scorner gets to himself shame. He that reprove a scorner getteth to himself shame. Watch this here. And he that rebuke a wicked man getteth himself a plot. Now here he's actually letting you know that darkness is looked at here in verse 7 as a scorner. You see? And they're going to fight back. They are going to fight back. That's why verse 6 says, forsake the foolish ones and stick with the Most High Yah. That's what verse 6 is saying. Verse 7 is telling you, he that reapproveth a scorner get to himself shame. Watch this here. And he that rebuke a wicked man getteth himself a plot. Because if you go around and you rebuke wicked people, or you reprove a scorner, which still is a wicked, all of them are dark, look for them to try to take your life. You see? They can't handle reprove. They can't handle being rebuked. They can't handle rebuke it nor reapprove. They can't handle that. Only thing they find in that when you do that to them is killing you, because they don't want to be rebuked. They don't want to be reproved. So it goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. If there was a pastor who had 3,000 members, and somewhere the light clicked in, and now he sees the light, he wants to speak spirit and truth, he wants to do what is right. The reason why it's finished and it's over for anybody to reverse is because in a way that they reverse in that type of way, because that pastor then led 3,000. That means he led 3,000 down the broad gate. Okay? He led 3,000 way out in the deep sea. But when he come back and running back, he see dry land, he go to dry land, or he turn around and say, nope, I don't want to go this route. What about all those thousands of people? You see, that's what I was speaking of. That's the reality of all these religions, from Islam to Buddha to Jehovah's Witness to Baptist to Catholic. That's how all of them are. They will kill you. They will kill you as they did the prophets, the apostle, and the great men of Yah. Because they don't want, when they don't want to be reproved, what do that mean? They don't want no part of truth. They don't want no part of righteous. When they don't want to be rebuked, what does that mean? They don't want no part to righteousness, no part in just, no part in upright. They don't want no part of what is right. Therefore, they don't want no part of truth. Okay? So he says in verse 7, he that reapprove, that means the individual who is the light. When you go out here to scorners and get it to him, and reprove the scorner, get it to himself, shame. And he that rebuke a wicked man, see, rebuking the wicked man, get it himself a block. That's a grave. That's to take your life. Because you cannot back yourself up in darkness and you the light. You don't want to be with the light. That's what I found and I put before the Father. If you got a body of Hamashiach, I sure like to know where it's at. If you got people who are the church, they are the light, I sure like to know where they're at. You see, that's how hard it is. This is how hard it is for the Hebrew Israelites to have taught what they taught at first and to come out of it and go the right way. They would take each other's life. I know many of you all had not heard of it, but they were doing it a lot last year and the year before last. Oh, they weren't just them years, but they always had like gang banging between different camps. Y'all didn't know they did you. Oh, yes, they still have it. Because they don't want to be reproved. They don't want to be rebuked. But what I love about Solomon telling you from the up, he say in verse 6, forsake the foolish, forsake the foolish, and live. You see, he said, and live, because once you get around them type of people, let me tell you something. It's life and death. Let's put it like that. Not life and it's dead. It's over. So he's saying here in Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 6, forsake the foolish and live, and go in the way of understanding. That's Yah. That's the spiritual way. Then he comes to 7 and says, he that reprove a scorner. So he telling you that you are the light. Don't go in there telling the darkness or scorning, being a scorner, reprove the scorner, which the dark. And don't go in and try to rebuke the wicked man. Because what? The wicked man get it himself a plot. Why? Because he's going to take your life. That's how hard and horrible the mindsets are in darkness. They don't want to be proven wrong. They feel wrong belong to them. So therefore, you can't bring up anything but wrong to them. And this is the part I be saying to the Father. And I know I don't have the right to say it to him like this, but I say it, and he knows I say it more than once. I mean, what was created to be like this? You see, because from what you see today, people are more so caught up in what's wrong. They're more so embedded in that dark, and that's the only way to go. So actually, he's giving you in the spirit realm, telling those who go the way of understanding, which is spiritual, which is the most high Yah. He's all understanding. Don't find yourself over here with the foolish. Those who can't, don't try to scorn her. Don't try to reprove the scorner. Don't try to rebuke the wicked man. He's telling us up front, leave those people alone. Leave those foolish people alone. They are the dark. And what did I tell y'all? I told y'all, you cannot think that you can make the dark the light. How have I said it? You cannot make the crooked straight. You cannot make the serpent seed a spiritual seed. So what? You think you rule your household and you got it under your authority and you are the light and you are the spirit and truth. It's going to go the way I said it's going to go. It's going to beat my baby. You ain't seen nothing yet. I'm a living witness. And I'm a living witness in the kind of patience that the Father let me rest in him. I'm so grateful. I am one that's so grateful. I was telling him today and yesterday, I just thank you for all that grace and mercy. You poured out on all of us. Thank you, Father Yah, for all that grace and mercy. Thank you, Father Yah. You see? So here in Proverbs chapter 9, he's telling you in verse 7 to leave those people alone. Stop going in darkness thinking you're going to change darkness up. But what you can do, keep showing your light. Let your light be like what one would see and say, I want to be like that individual. Or I want to think like they think. I want to be able to walk in their way they walk, the way they conduct themselves. That's how I want to be. That's why your lights are supposed to shine. Your lights are supposed to shine. And he's telling you, don't take your light into the darkness, trying to get the darkness to turn light. And many people will. They will think that, like with me, even with me, say if I got all these sons and daughters, I'm done. I'm going to give them spirit and truth and stick with it and keep it going. And don't think I was always there. The Father brought me to that level. And he's still bringing me because that's what it's going to take. Why? Because you cannot make people what you are in Yah. You can't. So you let them sit up in the corner and be brick walls and keep on feeding and eating. When they finish, they're going to be sit there for nothing. Okay? So here it is. He's saying in verse 7, leave those people alone. Don't go trying to reprove them. Don't go even trying to rebuke them. Let them stay where they at. Okay? Don't put no effort to even give them righteous information. Leave them alone. Because you cannot reverse darkness. You cannot go up to Satan's seeds thinking that you're going to give them something. Be the light upon a hill that the world may see what is invested in you is of Yah. And they will desire it. Those that are not of the world, they will see the light and they'll head your way. Okay. Now in verse, let me see which one. In verse 8, it says, reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. See, he's letting you know, darkness will hate you when you tell them truth. I want y'all to listen to this because it's going to sum this thing up. And this is beautiful. To me, it is. Listen to what he said in verse 8. He said, reprove not a scorner. There again, he's saying the same thing. The scorner here, he will hate you. See, darkness don't want no correction, y'all. Darkness don't want no righteous. Darkness don't want no light. Why do you think this world, no matter how much light you bring out of the world still seems like it's full of darkness? Why? Because the world is not embracing the light that you're pulling out. The world is in love with the darkness. They're not coming out because you bring in light. You see? The you bring in light is the will of the Father. but it ain't going to bring the darkness out. The darkness still going to remain in darkness. Okay, and he said here in verse 8, reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. See, somebody that's wise in the spirit, they love correction. You know why? They want to rest on the Father's bosom. They want to be right. They want to do right in the eyes of Yah. And guess what? In order for them to accept, listen to verse 8. Rebuke a wise man, and he will give and gave you, which here it says love. You know why? This right here is telling you that a wise person don't have no problem with you rebuking them, because it brings them to the level of the bosom of the Father. Because a lot of people have a hard time rebuking themselves. Mm-hmm. A lot of people have a hard time judging themselves. And did you all know that the light is out here today, not able to judge themselves daily? They are out here not under a lot of correcting, because the world, they looking at the world and they trying to figure out, well, where do I fit in? They don't even know how to judge themselves daily. So here he's telling you that the true wise man, and they use love, but I use give and gave. And this give and gave don't mean that person giving you something and gave you something. You have to understand it in the spiritual realm, but they appreciate what you have given them. You see? And that is spiritual food. Okay? So here in verse 8, it says, rebuke a wise man, and he will appreciate what you've given them. And that's what they will appreciate, is that you told them the truth. And that's how I am too. I'm a person that it might seem like I think I know everything, but it's impossible for me to think I know everything. And the Holy Spirit keep telling me everything every day, throughout the day, throughout the midnight hour. So why would a creator find the need to tell a person that think they know already everything? Stand down, stand down. Okay? So that just shows you how some people's mindset is just messed up from the floor up anyway, you know, and that's the way it's going to remain. Okay. So, and you can't, like he said, don't go trying to teach them nothing. Don't go trying to tell them nothing. Leave them where they at. Because I'm telling you, that's how the world is. They ain't listening to nothing. Not even the book that they're studying from and reading from. The prophecies in here, they ain't paying no attention to none of that. They rather hear what Epstein and Donald Trump them is doing. And this Nancy lady that they put out there so y'all can clown around. Why? They need to sit down with that mess. They always got something to put in front of you to keep you, this country busy, embedded in stuff. That's one of the biggest things that you should know that they are good at. Always putting something before the eyes and the ears of these people in this United States of America. So why? So they'll never see the snake coming from behind. They'll never see it coming. That's why he said in one day, one day. And see, y'all thinking that one day going to be a long time. No, it's just going to come out of nowhere. Bam! This country going to be gone. Okay? So here in Proverbs chapter 9, it tells you in verse 9, give instruction to a wise man, and he will, watch this here, and he will be yet wiser. So you see how that, taking that word love and put give, when you give him what he needs, you see, he appreciates it because it makes him wiser. Who? That spiritual wise individual. When you spiritual wise, then somebody giving you instructions, it makes you wiser. And that's another thing I've said to you all, but I can't seem to get that to go through. And I don't know what, it's just something, everybody ain't who they say they are. Everybody ain't who they think they are. Because in me, I've always felt that you learn and then you move higher. And when I mean move higher, you should be more spiritual wiser than Sister Deborah. You get what I'm saying? You should be more spiritual wiser than Sister Deborah. You get what I'm saying? So if I said to you that I've been on this since I was 4 years old, don't you think it's time for somebody else to come and be wiser than what she's been knowing since she was 4 all the way now? But it seems as if people are at a standstill. I know exactly what it is. I'm going to tell it like it is. People caught up in the world. Mm-hmm. Don't get caught. That's why he said you better be ready. So he said you better be ready. Okay. So here in verse 9, it says, give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. You see what I'm saying? I can give wisdom, but you would have more wisdom. The wisdom that I give to you might be something you never heard before, but you should be able to climb on top of it as time go on. That's what it's about. Okay. So and because it's those that's out there, they're still looking for a higher level of wisdom. You see, they're still out there. And here it is. It says in verse 9, teach a just man and he will increase in learning. See there? I like that. That's beautiful. Teach a just man. Now watch this here. Watch this, what this says. In verse 9, Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 9, look where it says, teach a just man. That's a righteous man. That's what just is, a righteous man. You see, a righteous man can still be taught. Do y'all get that? A righteous man can still be taught. That's why I sit and try to tell you, I am a student of the Holy Spirit. I'm full of the Holy Spirit. I am called, appointed, and anointed, and predestined as a servant of the Most High Yah to stand as a prophet on this earth. But guess what? I tell you, I learn from the Most High all the time. It's no end to it. You see? It's no end to it. And here I like it in verse 9 because it says, teach a just man and he will increase in learning. He's letting you know, no matter how just, meaning righteous, you are, there's much to learn in spirit and in truth. The Father is not coming to abide in us because we know everything. No, he said he's coming to abide in us to what? To teach us all things. You see? So don't ever feel that you are at a level to where you know it all. Because if you knew it all, what sense would it be him being greater in you, knowing all things? And you don't know a rat's behind. So I keep my whole spirit ready to hear whatever he says. And the Father tell you, I ain't got no sense. I can wake up in the midnight hour and capture something he just all of a sudden might say to me, and I'm just all in it because I'm listening, you guys. I know he's all I have. I know he's all I need. I know he's all I want. And I don't want to have it no other way. I can't even give you a definition that would fit for the way I need him. Because if you can go to the dictionary or you can go anywhere, the Hebrew, and look it up, it still can't define the way I feel I need him. I was down praying yesterday, telling him, when I was done, I said, Father, oh, you know I need you. Because it's not you guys. When you get to the point where you need him only limited, when you in pain, when you going through, when you having family issues, when you having family problems on your job, problems in your neighborhood. No, baby. I need him 24/24. And no, I can't explain the great need in me that needs him. All I know is I need him. Do I have him? Yes. And as long as I have him, I'm going to keep telling him how important I need thee. Because I'm nothing without you. Okay. So here in verse 9, that's a beautiful thing where he says, and I like that. Now, this is how we should be, y'all. This is exact. Give instruction to a wise man. He's already wise, but he said, give him some instruction, because we all, even Sister Deborah, like I was telling you, we should be all ready to hear more wisdom and more knowledge, more understanding. The Father didn't come and live in us and say, okay, baby, you got it now. You got A to Z. Run on. No. We ever learning, even in our sleep. And then I was looking at something, and I'm going to show you how all these all these years, how people have taken and believed something. Have y'all heard in the Old Testament as well as the New Testament how it talks? And in the end days, I will pour out my spirit upon all your daughters and sons. Okay, we all are daughters and sons. Okay, but he said we all are daughters and sons to someone. Okay, only one that wasn't a daughter and a son was Adam and Eve. Okay, Adam and Eve didn't have come from a mother and a father. They came from the creation of the Father's right hand when he was molding them from the ground. Okay. Now, what I want to say to you, I know you all have heard it. It says, let me see if I can see it. In the Old Testament and in the New Testament, it says in the end days. Now, I'm going to show y'all something. I'm going to show y'all how you really got to be careful in the way people are doing things on these platforms. He said, I will pour out my spirit in the end days upon your daughters and your sons. Your old men will see visions. And your young men, no, not see, the old men will see through dreams. And the young men will see through visions. And the daughters and the sons would prophesy. Okay. Right there, what people missed. Where alone did he tell you that he gave all these prophets and these prophetess dreams? He didn't say that. Old men would dream dreams. And a lot of the dreams that the old men would dream, that's what we need to be taking heed to. The dreams of the elders. So when you got all these people on this devil platform talking about I had a dream and I had a vision, sit your tails down. Put that thing in order. See, everybody all over the place. That's why I said they couldn't even go back to this book and teach it right. It's over. They couldn't even get back in here and teach this thing right. It's so messed up. Because when he said he's going to pour out his spirit, first and foremost, you cannot get on these. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can, Deborah. Yes, they can. You can get on here. All these devil platforms. Oh, I'm a prophet. I'm a prophetess. Oh, I had all these dreams. I had these here dreams. I had these dreams. I had these dreams. And I had it back in 2000. I had it back in 1999. I got it all wrote in my book. I had a dream back in 2015. Or I had a dream last week. It's counteracting, y'all. Why won't nobody pull up and say something and say, hold up now, wait a minute, y'all, with these dreams and these visions, and it's out of order? Nope, nobody won't say nothing. So I understand what he's saying in Proverbs. Leave them people, foolish people alone. Leave them foolish people alone. Don't go trying to rebuke them, Deborah. Don't go trying to reprove them, because they all in a dark setting and they winning the war in darkness, and they are. They getting it all that it's worth. And I'm going to tell y'all, this internet is not going to be here always. So every word that Sister Deborah has spoken, you better hope it rests in your spirit, because you're going to need it in the days to come. You're going to need everything that Sister Deborah have said since she's been on this devil platform in the days to come. It is called spirit and truth, food for your spirit. Because the day that was and is and to come, When it comes, you're going to be looking for something. You're going to be looking for something. And it's not my words, it's what I have said to bring you in alignment with the Most High that's in you. That's what you're going to be needing. If the Most High is in you, you got all of it. But he still wants you to know and to bring back that which you have been taught in spirit and truth. Why? Because he is spirit and truth. Those are the things you're going to need. Everything you're not going to need. But there are those things that fed your spirit you're going to need. So when they sit and they say, prophesy and thou shalt, they said it in the Old Testament and in the New, in the end days, he's going to pour out his spirit. First and foremost, Father, why did they get away from the spirit? How did everybody get away from the spirit and jump to the dreams? How? How did they skip the idea that you first have to have the spirit that he's going to pour out in you? And if he poured out in you, you'll understand, wait a minute, you got all these prophetess, all these prophets. Oh, I had a dream, and I had a dream. Everybody done had a dream, but I thought he said an old man would dream dreams. Young men would see vision. You don't see nobody saying, I had a vision. I had a vision. I had a vision. They didn't step in the last realm, which is the elder. The old men shall dream dreams. How could that be? How is everybody dreaming dreams? How could that be? See how easily people are manipulated? See how easy they lie to you and you believe it? He already said, it is said. Let me just say it like that. He will pour out his spirit in the end days. We're supposed to be prophesying. Taking on prophecies and prophesying on top of them. We're not, and we shouldn't be on this devil platform with our book full of dreams. He said old men would dream dreams. So how are you dreaming dreams? You're not even the old woman. I can see if you say visions or prophesying, but you all got books of years and years and years, 10, 20 years ago, that you said the Father gave you a dream. Everybody got the dreams, y'all. This here would help you to divide people for whom they say they are. This way they can't say that they are this or they are that. You see what I'm saying? They can't say that. Why? Because it said that it don't say that. And they ain't gonna find it. Not in the end days. How can somebody, I think it's in there 3 times. I think 2 in the New Testament and once in the Old Testament. But both of them, all 3, support each other, saying identical, the same thing. But they said it was going to happen. Listen to this. In the end days. So if this is the end days we are in, is he talking about the end days, or he just talking about any day? Or it can go way back. See, this is showing you they don't follow the order. I told y'all, these people read this book, study it, they master it, they got the scholar degree from it, and don't know a rat's behind what this book is really detailing, because it's a study guide. And the Ruach is the only one can take you in and out. Meaning, take you in, show you it in the spirit realm and what's it's saying behind what it's saying. And this is what caused people to be doing things they ain't got no business doing. They just talking and running their mouths and got the multitude going their way. And it's amazing how people can sit up and listen to everybody's dreams. It's off the chain. No spirit and truth now, y'all. You know what spirit and truth is? The word from the Ruach himself. They ain't getting the word. They ain't even getting the words. Why? Because too many people having visions and dreams. Too many people having dreams. They get in the dreams. And guess what? They have fell in love with all the dreams. This is showing you how dark this world is. It ain't going nowhere. It's where it's at, is where it's going to be. So when we get to verse, and he said here in verse 9, Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 9, give instructions to a wise man and he will be yet wiser. So understand, it's no end to learning. Okay? I can tell anybody that. I can stand on any mountain and tell you that. But even a wise man, he will be yet wiser. This is why it's no end. Teach a just man. Now here go a just man. Who is a just man? A righteous man. But he's still saying, teach him. Watch this here. And he will increase in learning. Like I told y'all, it's so many people come in here and be brick walls standing up in the corner and like they know everything and don't know nothing. Okay? And it says, and he will increase in learning. Who is that? The just man. But he's already righteous. No, baby. You don't stop because you're righteous. You keep pulling up in righteous. Okay? That's what makes your light brighter and brighter, where the world can't reject you or not see that you represent the Most High Yah. The last is 10, verse 10. Fear of Yah is the beginning of wisdom. And the knowledge of the holy is understanding. The knowledge of the holy is understanding. Knowledge, okay, of the holy is understanding. Understanding is the Most High Yah. He is holy. He's the all understanding. That's why he said he would teach you all things, because he is all understanding. He said, he didn't say in all your getting. In all your getting, get wisdom. He didn't say in all your getting, get knowledge. But he did say in all your getting, get understanding. Because once you got the understanding, you got it all. And that's beautiful. Now we're finna step into a realm that's off the chain. And I'm going to try to go through this really, really quick. Proverbs chapter 11. I think I like this. The title of this message is, what does it mean? In Proverbs 11 and verse 1, let's start there. It says, a false balance is abomination to Yah. A false balance is abomination to Yah. You know what I like about that? It's telling you straight up. People that are false, they ain't got nothing in common with the Most High Yah. That's it. They ain't got nothing in common with the Most High Yah. And it says here, a false balance is an abomination to Yah. Watch this here. But a just weight is his delight. A just weight. What is that he's saying? A righteous person that has weight is his delight. What makes them his delight? First and foremost, they're just. Just mean righteous. And they carrying the weight. Who put that in there? Who giving them that weight? The Father. They're carrying the mission of the Most High here on the earth. You see? So if you run up on people who say that, oh, I'm righteous, I'm just, I'm upright. I'm the light. I'm spirit and truth. Where's your bag of weight? Come on with it. Pull up. They ain't got nothing to show you. They ain't got nothing to tell you. They can't say nothing. Then they stuck. And in their process of stuck, they mad. They disappointed. They don't understand. Then they make everybody else to lie so they can continue the lie within them. Hear what it just said. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 1. A false balance is an abomination to Yah. Now, if you look up abomination, you wouldn't like all the words that surround abomination. You wouldn't like it at all. It's an ugly darkness. It's an ugly serpent seed. But what does it say? But now he's finna tell you the other side of that false balance. But a just, there go the just. That's the one that's the light. That's the one that's born of the spirit. Okay? A just mean righteous. Wed is his delight. Why? Because he created them and given them the tools that they would need to come down here to represent him. And he knows the weight because only he himself put it in their bag. Let's go to Proverbs. What was it? Let me see. Was it Proverbs? Let me get it right. It talks about the weight in a man's bag. Proverbs 1. Proverbs 16. Come on now, Deborah. Proverbs 16 and it's Proverbs. Okay, here it is. Proverbs 16 and verse 11. So when we are talking here in Proverbs 11, it talks about a just weight is a delight to the Father. Now listen to this. Proverbs 16 and verse 11. It says, a just weight and a balance are Yah. You see what I'm saying? Are Yah. Watch this here. All the weights of the bag are his work. All the weight of his bag is his work. So when you get back to where we at, 11, it says, but a just weight is Yah's delight. That's why he's Yah's delight. Because he gave him a mission and he gave him the tools to complete it. And that's what's in his bag. Okay. Verse 2. When pride cometh, y'all, let me tell y'all something. Pride cannot enter into the kingdom. And I'm going to tell you, there is a whole bunch of people who have pride. Some knows that they have it, but they like it. Because it makes them feel they somebody. There is a lot of people pride-minded. You know how they came up with this word, narcissist. But I think that pride, narcissist is something someone just made up and calling everybody that. But pride, it won't even look into the kingdom. It ain't gonna stand a chance. And there are so many people that are prideful. They got a prideful heart. They got a prideful mind. And what are they prideful of? What they have, what they getting, the decisions they make, they like it. They like the way they make their choices. They prideful of it. They would even stumble and fall over their own prideful self and get right back up and be even prideful. So just listen to this. Proverbs 11, verse 2. When pride cometh, then cometh shame. But with the lowly is wisdom. So those that represent Yah, they ain't got time for that. They used to be in meek and humble. Prideful can't touch none of them rims. Because they are, it's a form that people have that they so caught up in themselves. It's like it's no way they can even break through it. And I think that's really deep. It's something that they just so loaded. And it's a mindset, it's a heart set, it's a spirit set. You see what I'm saying? Because it's so rooted in them that in them they really believe that it's a tool that they can hold firm to, but it's a tool that never will allow you, your spirit, to enter into the kingdom. Pride is a heavy demonic thing, y'all. I know y'all, a lot of y'all don't know that, but it is. And then it says, but with the lowly is wisdom. That means those that are humble, those that are meek. You see? So prideful, I like that because he's giving you the tools. He's giving you one for the darkness and one for the spirit. Oh, yes, that's what he's doing in verse 11. That's why I say a lot of people, they can teach this stuff and preach it all day long, and they never come to the realm of spirit and truth and show the light of really what the verses are actually saying. It's speaking to the darkness and speaking to the light at the same time. Now, you would think that, now I'm going to show you something. I'm going to tell you something. It's been said. He's been telling the difference, telling the dark what it is and telling the light what it is. And those that's in the light ran over there and got with the darkness. But the darkness said, oh, I like this where I come down here to be. The darkness ain't trying to get over there in the light, but the light got its tail over there in the darkness. Oh, yes. All the way to the end. So here in verse 2, it's actually telling you both sides. In verse 1, it's telling you both sides. Even when we was in Proverbs chapter 9, verse 6 to 10, both sides. What is being said is showing you both sides to the darkness and to the light. Just like I was telling y'all a week ago. There are those that are born dead and those that are born living. Okay? And it's not the flesh, y'all. When I say born dead, I'm speaking spirit. Born living, I'm speaking spirit. I'm speaking of the spirit. I'm not speaking of the flesh, but I'm speaking of the tools. So in here, in verse 11, it's actually telling you about the tools. And that's why I said what went on throughout all of the study guide. It has, you know how Israel said, this book is about us. This talking about us. This is our history. What if it's your history? It should have shown you that you've been an ugly people to a creator since the beginning. Why don't y'all teach that to these men so they'll understand why they're ugly today? If they knew they were ugly then, and if they ugly today, seem like they will say, okay, we've been ugly for a long time. We need to get this right. No, you know what they're saying? We awaken. Well, why haven't you awakened to the fact that you was ugly then? And that's why you're ugly now. They won't grip that. And that's the same thing I'm saying to you now. They won't grip. They read this book, y'all, out of their flesh that has nothing in them to reveal who they are. That's why the Catholics, that's why the Christians can take this book and live by it. They don't see nothing wrong with it. Nothing at all. They can't see that, wait a minute, you in here as dark. Catholics, y'all in here as dark. Christians, you in here as dark. Hebrew Israelite, you in here as dark. But nobody pulls the dark out. Let me tell y'all why. Let me give you a mystery. The reason why they can't separate and say, wait a minute, he's talking to two. There's two things going on down here. He's talking to two. Even look at how the Son of Man came. He came with the what? The Son of Yah. Two. You see? No one ever challenged. They said 7 is known in the book. 9 is known in the book. 6 is known in the book. I think they said 4 is known. Every number is known, but 2. None of y'all don't see that to be nothing wrong with that? There is. Because the 2 started in the book of Genesis chapter 1. The 2 started there. And they still today, in the midnight hour, in a time as this, still will never be able to stand on not this YouTube nor a pulpit and teach spirit and truth with the light. That there are 2 entities on this earth. What would that do? It will allow the awakening that they said they awaken to really wake up. Oh, yes. And maybe, and it could be, this too is the Father's will. He knew and know that they wasn't going to do nothing with it once they did know that they're the 2s. Because the 2s tells the whole story. It'll let you know who you are, what you are, and whom you are. And who you're going to be. And what you're going to be. And where you're going to end up. If you only was taught the 2s. That's deep to me. If they only would have taught you the 2s, you would have known more than way beyond what you know today. Because as Solomon is talking, I realized the whole book of Solomon, even in Ecclesiastes. Remember when he was saying there's a time to cry, there's time to laugh, there's go to. These things he broke down in 2s. Even though it is not like it's separating, it is not separating us as humans. One is the serpent seed, one is the spiritual seed, but it's spiritual seed. But what is separating is dark and light. Crying is sad. Laughter is joy. It's still showing you the same thing. I know y'all don't understand that, but it's just not meant for you too. Because if the whole world never taught it and preached it and told the people everything is leveled under the 2, then what makes you think that it's just going to come up and here, you got it? So here in verse 11, Proverbs 11, verse 3, the integrity of the upright shall guide them. The integrity of the upright shall guide them. Don't and stop thinking the Father don't know who he put in over his word, who he called and put weight in their bag to be about his business. I know we so caught up in we got the answer, we know it. Oh, it ain't like this, it ain't like that. So here it says in verse 3, integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perversiveness of the transgression shall destroy them. You see how one is already wanting to destroy the upright? Just imagine that's how y'all allowed it. He said even in the end days, they're going to kill you. Who you think he's saying that to? The light. He just letting you know it's a lot of things going to bounce. So you better get it right. And you better make sure you right and in the right place where you're supposed to be with me. Because there's a lot of things going to continue to take place. You better fall in line. And a lot of the things that I'm teaching you is detached to that, falling in line. Now, because when you look at Proverbs, you would never would have thought integrity of the upright shall guide them. Integrity of the upright shall guide them. But the perversiveness of the transgression shall destroy them. Who are they going to destroy? The upright. That's way back in Proverbs. And that's what I've been explaining to you all. Every servant that the Father sent down here to labor, is you all the one to take our lives. You all the one to come after us, to kill and to even destroy us. Even if you don't kill us, you destroy. It's always those are out there that's out to try to destroy the work of Yah. And who is the work of Yah? Those that he sent down as the upright. And Solomon ain't denying it. He's just telling it like it is. Now listen to this. Verse 4. Riches profit not in the day of wrath. I like that. I like that. And if you think for 1 minute that the judgment of the Most High is not on this earth and the wrath of the Most High is not showing up and showing out, the day of wrath, what day is that? Earthquakes, pestilence, nation against nation, complexity. I think it's something like that. Perilous time, tribulation. This is the day of wrath. And what do he say? Riches profit not in the day of wrath. This letting you know. Y'all want you to know everything you think you got, especially when you think you got something above somebody. Don't mean a rest behind when his wrath comes. You see, I try to explain it to y'all. But I don't think even explaining it as a servant of the Most High Yah could even help the mindset of people. You know, have you heard that thing says, if you don't lose it, you use it? I mean, if you don't use it, you lose it. A lot of people say that a lot of times for a lot of situations. If you don't use it, you lose it. But I, as a sister here on YouTube, a prophetess in the wilderness, if it ain't about, if you don't use it for the purpose of Yah and his glory, you're going to lose it right before your face. When did he say that? The day of his wrath. And that's how I started off the conversation. Many people ain't going to make it because they ain't going to want to leave what they got behind. You know why I know they're not going to leave? They ain't going to want to leave it because right now when the Father tell them to do something, they ain't listen. They don't give a rat's behind what he say. He tell them to do something with what they got. They refuse to do it. Why? Because they more of the world than they think they are. So here I like Proverbs 11 and verse 4. Riches profit not in the day of wrath. So that right there is what I was explaining to y'all. I don't care what you think you got. Y'all gonna try you and everything you got by that fire. And it's gonna identify whose side you really on. And that's a hard way to go out. Because people are not going to leave what they got to follow no creator that they cannot see. And they've been faking they believe. They're not going to do it. But when you know how to take what you have, glorify Yah with it, he will let you keep what you got and then let you be able to walk away from it. But if you glorify it, you magnify it, and you feel like the world feel today, what happened to, do you know why these people been eating kids? Eating flesh? Eating babies? You know why? They billionaires, they trillionaires. They bypass having everything already. They move to the next step. That's why they don't have no problem with it. Everybody looking at Oprah, you can tell that lady been taking something been done to her. It ain't something done to her, it's something she done done, because I think she was the queen of it, of that transporting that flesh. Oh yes, without a doubt, I think she's the kingpin, one of them. Okay, for the underdog, for the she's the underdog for them. Okay, I put it like that. But what I'm saying is, right here in Proverbs 11, verse 4, riches profit not in the day of wrath. I try to teach that to you. It ain't going with you, baby. But I tell you what, I guarantee you're going to lose every penny of it. Because people feel that what they have was for them. The only reason why rich was rich and poor was poor, so the rich will learn a different heart if they gave to the poor. And the poor will believe that the Most High is who he said he is when they receive. Being poor, they receive. Those two, if you just think, you can think it and see how the Father set it up. But the darkness and the flesh and the evil got into people, and they just assume all of it. I got this because I overwork. I did this. I did this. I did this. But wait a minute. How could you say he owned it all? I thought the Most High give it, the Most High take it away. Blessed be the name of the Most High Yah. I thought the Father owned it all. So how is it you gained it all if he owned it all? Oh, they don't want to see it like that. It don't become spiritual. It don't become blown into Yah no more, because they feel so entitled. If the Father told them to do this, they would go. If he told them to do this on the left side with their finances, they'll turn to the right side and go left and do what they want to do and how they want to do it. And they still think that they're lining up. But what Proverbs verse 4 is an example of what I've been telling y'all. And you know why? You can say, oh, when you that was Proverbs way back in that day. No. If it's what it says, Proverbs 11, verse 4, riches profit not in the day of wrath. Do your search and see what the day of wrath is. You'll find out you in it. But righteous delivered from the dead. So why is righteous delivered from the dead? But the riches profit nothing in the day of wrath. Because I believe this is going to determine who's who and what's what. Who is truly the walking dead and who is truly the walking living. All the Father had to do is pull up what people have and measure it based on that alone. Because in a man's bag is what Yah given him. You see? So therefore, even the prayer, it says, my daily bread. And people just don't connect none of that. They just assume that it's something they did right in the world that causes them to have what they have. That's why they can't hear the Father tell them to do what they're supposed to do with it. They'll never listen to the Father. Never, ever listen to the Father until it's all gone. Then they'll look and see what the Father can say and tell them what to do. And that's how he's going to do it. That's why it brought up the prophet. I don't care what kind of money you got. It ain't going to profit you in the day of wrath, in Yah's day of wrath. But the righteous delivered from the death. Verse 5, the righteousness of the perfect shall direct his way, but the wicked shall fall by its own wickedness. verse 6. This is my last verse. The righteousness of the upright shall deliver them, but the transgressors shall be taken in their own naughtiness. So I just want to say this. As we read Proverbs 11, as we went over it, and I know many of you all have allowed it to go over your head, which is still okay. I'm about my Father's business. I'm gonna still pour out spirit and truth. Each and every day He gives it to me, I'm gonna bring it forth, okay? Because I know my purpose. I know my lane. I know why I'm here. I know all about that. But it's not going to sit and do nothing, say nothing. He's been too good to me. He's been all that I need, all that I want, for me to stand around and not speak spirit and truth or bring out the light in the midst of darkness. What I said, and I said to y'all earlier, and I learned that, is let's take this whole book. It's a sad day, and it is the day of wrath, where people will follow this whole book. They will read it, they will preach it, they will teach it, they will minister it, they will find their administrative position in it, and they will teach the mass and the multitude. But guess what? They have never come to the knowledge of the twos. And you know what? That right there tell you, all, like I've said before, all these people on this devil platform and all these people in the synagogue, the temples and the places of worship, all these religions, they ain't nowhere near representing the Most High Yah. Nowhere near it. Now, what kind of hurt me right now is what I'm about to say. I've talked about how they missed everything from Genesis 1 all the way to the end. He said if they missed Genesis 1, they missed the whole thing. Guess what? Guess what they missed, y'all? The twos. Right then, I just read those verses from different books. Proverbs chapter 9, Proverbs chapter 11, and Matthew 6. Even Yeshua was teaching the twos. So what did I say? If Sister Deborah decided, okay, let me go out here and start a church, you know what I would do? I would start it based on the twos. I would start it right there. Why? Because the twos represent everything that's going on the earth. I just went over Matthew's chapter 6, Proverbs chapter 9, Proverbs chapter 11, and guess what it was saying, y'all? The twos. Identifying the twos on the earth. You know what that's saying now? That all of our identity, you know how people say it's in your fingerprint? It's your fingerprint or your eyes, your blood identify you. But guess what? None of that identify you. It's your spirit that identify you. How far does the spirit identify you? The day it come in and the day it go out and the day it reside in its eternal. So all of this about fingerprint, blood, and DNA and all this on the outside that identify this flesh ain't nothing greater than identifying the spirit of a person. And the Father allowed us the opportunity to do so. He created everything in twos and broke it all down to us so we can see what's what. And that's why this can't be who He is. It can be things that they took out of the scrolls to add to it, to make it come to life in the flesh. But what they wasn't able to do was make it come alive in the spirit. because he is a spirit. Therefore, if he is the spirit, he is the word of the what? Of the spirit. But they made it live to you in the flesh. And that kept you from even knowing Genesis 1. And that the whole ball was dropped in Genesis 1. And that's why they cannot, that's why it's over. That's why they can't catch up. What would it look like for them to catch up and bring it back to what it should have been? It can't be done. Too much left. What you mean, Deborah? Too much left since Genesis. So how they gonna pick up from Genesis all the way now? You see? So I sit and in my little spirit, sitting here talking to you, and just I'm hearing the spirit while I'm telling you. And in my spirit and in my flesh, I feel sad because I realized something. Just sitting there talking to you all about them 3 chapters. I realized as I was sharing it with y'all, it was telling you about the twos. So somewhere along the line, it should have been what we all should have been in tune with. Even when he's telling you that, oh, this one here gonna kill this one. Well, wait a minute. This one here is gonna kill this one. He telling us, just as Cain killed Abel. The twos. He's been telling us that all the time. The 2 trees that really represent everything on the face of the earth in the direction of the 2 spirits that would come down. He had 2 trees. One for each spirit. The spirit of the spirit and the spirit of the serpent seed. Everything from Genesis all the way to here has been about the twos. I am very grateful because I learned something, even if you didn't. I learned that you've been talking about the twos and identifying the 2 spirits on the earth from the heaven. See, everything was a spirit before it was flesh. And we missed it. And for that same reason, it will cause you to know how to really care for other people. It'll cause you to have compassion. It will cause you to have grace and mercy, which you don't find on this earth. Why? Because there's 2 entities. And if you are the righteous one, the light, you will learn to know how to treat the darkness, even though it's evil towards you. You will still know how, because you know that it is here to represent another entity. It was important that we know the twos, even to our very family that we're in, the loved ones. You know, they say blood is thicker than water. Sit your tail down. Pull up spirit. Because he said it ain't about the flesh and blood. It's about the spirit. And that's why we can't defeat many battles. It's because we keep battling the flesh and not the twos that came down in the spirit. You notice many of you all, 99.9, can't use and don't know how the spirit of discerning. You don't have the spirit of discerning, nor do you have the spirit to try the spirit by the spirit. It's because the spirit of Yah is somewhere not in you. Or it is, how would they say it, compressed. Because what is the sense of the Creator giving me the ability to try the spirit by the spirit and then pour out from the kingdom a spirit of discerning? For what? Deborah, so that you can know the other one. What other one? There's 2. You one, but there's another one. Try it to see if that's the other one. You see, everything was created by the twos, people. I'm grateful. Let me eat mine. Sister Deborah says, appreciate each and every last one of you all tuning in. And you know what? I shall, I will, and I shall, and I will be back. Shalom and shalom.